Kia ora koutou. Thank you for coming into Parliament on a Saturday morning. Just after 8 p.m. last night, Dr. Elizabeth Kerekere notified the Green Party caucus in writing that she has resigned as a Green Party MP and Green Party member, effective immediately. Dr. Kerekere notified the Green Party caucus for her intention to sit as an independent MP until the general election, when she will retire. As we said when the Electoral Integrity Amendment Act was passed, the party hopping legislation, we do not intend to invoke it if faced with that choice. Our first priority as co-leaders of the Green Party is to our kaupapa, values, members and our caucus. I acknowledge that this is a difficult time for our Green Party whānau. The Green Party is a tiriti-based political party with a proud track record of championing Māori political aspirations. For more than 3 decades, the Green Party has cared and stood up for what is right. We have stayed true to our values in Parliament and in government, leading the fight to eliminate poverty, honour te tiriti, protect nature and build a climate-friendly future. Core to this is making sure the Crown upholds its promise to guarantee tino rangatiratanga of hapu of tangata whenua over their whenua, kāinga and taonga katoa. On 5 April 2023, Dr. Kerekere sent messages to a group of Green Party MPs and staff that appeared to fall short of our values as a party. We were concerned that these messages were not isolated, but part of a pattern of behaviour towards staff and caucus colleagues. We requested that a formal caucus process be carried out to consider the matter. This process began in the days that followed Dr. Kerekere's messages on 5 April. Since then, a number of allegations have surfaced, including confidentially to us about the conduct of Dr. Kerekere towards other Green Party MPs, staff and members. As we have stated on numerous occasions, we committed to an internal process to look into these matters that was fair to everyone involved. Before that process could conclude, Dr. Kerekere resigned as a Green Party MP and Green Party member. We want to be clear that the mahi for the Green Party has continued and will continue to happen. Aotearoa needs a government that will take bold action to build a cleaner, fairer future for all of us and our mokopuna to come. Right now, our communities are feeling the impact of the climate crisis. Tens of thousands of people are struggling to make ends meet, and wealth is severely out of balance. Green Party solutions are needed now more than ever. Our focus is on delivering positive change for everyone in Aotearoa and increasing our party vote so we can get more Green MPs around the decision-making table where we can truly shape the direction of the next government. That is the only way we will get the action we need to lift every family out of poverty and confront climate change with the urgency it demands. We are really excited about the upcoming campaign and look forward to sharing the Green Party's plans for a fairer, climate-friendly future.
Dr. Kerekere.
Jason? The investigation was an internal caucus investigation. There will still be an opportunity for people who want to speak and had put their hands up to allow that to happen.
There isn't the complication of Dr. Elizabeth Kerekere being an electorate MP, and therefore if you were to kick her out of Parliament, she's only a list MP, you could get another list MP, and why are you not doing that?
The Green Party is opposed to the party hopping bill. We voted for its repeal earlier this term, and the Green Party executive at the time said that if the legislation remained in place that we would not use it.
She's put the onus back on you guys, saying that you've dragged your feet when it comes to this investigation, deliberately dragging it out as a method to get her out of the party. How do you respond to those accusations?
That is incorrect. So this process started immediately following when her messages were sent to the Signal chat and before they were made public in the media. There have been a number of stages to that process, but it has been ongoing for the entire time.
Here.
What's the nature of those messages sent on April the 5th, and was it more than just that crybaby message?
What's important here is the pattern of behaviour which does not focus on just messages that people may know about. Those concerns were brought to us and we deemed them serious enough to start an internal investigation. As co-leaders, we have a responsibility to staff and caucus wellbeing.
Do you know what behaviour, what sort of misconduct are we talking about?
We won't be going into detail and the confidentiality. As co-leaders, we deemed this serious enough to start an internal process.
How was it that Dr. Elizabeth Kerekere was able to address party members last night and litigate her side, given that you had this process established?
That was a matter for the party. She was given an opportunity, given that there was a list ranking process, and some members did request it. So our understanding is she simply accepted that opportunity. It's pretty unusual to have a situation where someone who's going through a process like that to put their side of the story, but ultimately it is really important that the internal process continued, that it preserves natural justice and that it supports and is fair to all people involved, including Dr. Kerekere.
What was the process of her mana and her rangatiratanga to be able, so that she was able to establish her motuhake? What was the process, the Māori process you used? I can hear a lot about party process, can't hear anything about Māori.
I am standing here proud to be wahine Māori co-leader, kaupapa Māori wahine co-leader of the Green Party. My tika and pono responsibilities to my staff and our MP colleagues is my responsibility to uphold the mana of our kaupapa and of all of our MPs. This is why we started an internal process to get to the heart of the matter.
So did you have a recording and did you have a whanahoi as well too to discuss these issues that have been brought up by the Green Party staffers?
That was exactly the process that had begun and was ended last night by Dr. Kerekere.
Was the other member of the party given an opportunity to speak to the leaders, or was it just Elizabeth?
It was just Elizabeth Kerekere. However, members of the party, staff, MPs and so on had the opportunity to talk to the people leading the internal process.
You talked about...
Do you find her explanation that she was calling herself a crybaby?
We don't find that credible, but ultimately that's not the primary issue here. The primary issue is that we thought that those messages were indicative of a broader pattern of behaviour, and the people who have come forward during the course of the last few weeks have, we felt that it was really important to address those concerns. Sorry.
And either of you experienced this pattern of behaviour from Elizabeth Kerekere, or is it more staff people?
We don't, as we said before, we don't want to get into the specific allegations. That would be unfair and a breach of the process itself. The matter is now at an end.
There's been a number of people that have come forward, obviously. We've seen it in the media. Elizabeth Kerikere's talked about it. How is it fair that she still remains in this place despite the fact there are numerous allegations of bullying? Have you had any conversations with the Speaker about this issue? I mean, she's going to still be able to be sitting in the chamber, essentially lobbing grenades at the Green Party for the rest of the term.
That is a matter for Dr. Kerekere, not for us. The Green Party was really clear that we don't think that it should be up to the judgment of party leaders to determine people's reasons for their resignations from their parties.
But don't you have a
We've always been opposed to that
But
legislation.
don't you have a responsibility for your staff that feel like they have been bullied by this individual? You have this opportunity to make her go away, but you're choosing not to take it.
Well, she's not going to be part of the Green Party caucus or our work over the remainder of this parliamentary term. We have said that for people who feel that they have been affected, that we will give them an opportunity to talk to us about how
Mark, can I come to you?
Did the investigation end up taking longer than you expected it would? We're now a month on from the start of it. And if so, is that because of the amount of material or number of complaints that
No,
ended up?
look, we don't want to get into specific complaints, Mark. It is really important for us to uphold a process that observes natural justice and is fair to everyone involved. That is the people coming forward and also Dr. Kerekere herself. Those processes take time.
Can I come over here? Can I come over here? Sorry, could you please repeat? We're not going to go through a play-by-play of the entire meeting. We just want to be very clear that there were things that are not correct, are not true that were said, and we want to confirm that an internal process was going to help get to the matter of that.
Are not correct, or you don't believe them to be?
They are not correct, and we stated that last night. Some untruths were told.
Have you got support from every single Green MP for what's happened? In other words, is there anybody who is backing Kerekere or not endorsing the actions that you've taken?
Our Green MPs are all united in wanting to just rip into the campaign and win an election. There is an agreement from all of our MPs to continue our work, to remain a united group, all of our MPs, and that's what we're focused on. Those are not words that we have used. That was going to result in the internal process.
But you're perpetuating that by repeating that word bullying. Are you not concerned that this seems to be a word that is used by around our wahine Māori particularly, and this isn't the first case, and in fact, nzherald had also come up against opposition from within the Green Party group during her time. Are you not concerned that this seems to be an easy phrase bandied around our wahine Māori in Parliament?
All people are human. There is not one group of people who are immune from human behaviours. Metere was also left in a completely different circumstance and was never accused of putting the risk of her staff at stake.
The Green Party that did not support her. You're saying that that we might be united, but we're not hearing the supporters for Elizabeth. We've got a situation with the Labour Party. There does seem to be an issue, a default almost, that word, that kupu, is used around our wahine Māori particularly. So the couple of questions here. How safe is the Green Party for wahine Māori? How safe is Parliament for wahine Māori?
I stand here as a proud kaupapa Māori wahine co-leader of the Green Party. It has been in my most authentic moments as a Māori woman political leader, the moments where we are most criticised and challenged as a party for standing against supremacy, for standing against racism, that my MP colleagues, my parliamentary team, our members have backed me 100%, and we have an ongoing, long-standing record of taking those stances. They are not comfortable stances, but we are proud to have been a long-standing, committed party to upholding kaupapa Māori. And I am here as a kaupapa Māori wahine co-leader who brought into this role all of those accountabilities to Te Ao Māori that I stand here with today. Dena.
You think that Elizabeth Kerekere had potentially put staff's well-being at risk? How is that not believable?
That is what the internal process would have helped get to the heart of. We have said that on the face of it, it appeared that the messages were not what we expect of our Green Party MP behaviours.
When that message, when,
Yeah.
That you were aware of that behaviour before those comments emerged. What were you doing about it?
Again, we don't want to get into specifics, but we were concerned when those messages came to light that they were indicative of a wider pattern of behaviour. That is why we initiated the process.
So you were aware of any concerns before that fact, before those messages?
We had been aware that there were concerns and that the messages that were sent were indicative of that. That is why. So it's really important to understand. Marama and I have a duty of care to our staff, to colleague MPs, and to our members as a whole. The messages that were sent were, we felt, indicative of behaviour that was not aligned to that, and that's why we initiated the process.
What had become clear is people did not feel safe in coming forward, and there became an opportunity that they felt safer to come forward in, with James and I leading and initiating that process.
So informally, you guys have maybe heard some stuff in the background about what had been going on, but no one perhaps formally came to you until it was made public.
Yeah, Jenna, I don't want to be cagey about this, but we don't want to get into specific allegations, and that is because we are trying to observe natural justice and fairness to all parties, including Dr. Kerekere herself.
Did you go through this? She accused you of stalling the process. My understanding is that she herself was stalling the process.
The process requires that all parties agree at each stage of it, and that takes time.
Could you go through the timeline for us from last night? When did she actually resign? Was it when she was speaking to members? Did she let you know beforehand, or just more information around that?
We received an email at 8:08 p.m. The call with members started at about 8 o'clock and finished at 20 past 8, so it was while she was speaking.
So did she say on the meeting before the email that she resigned, or did she wait till the end?
She apparently didn't say that she was resigning on the call. We knew about it from the emails that we received.
In 2017, when Maturia Ture resigned, your support crashed, almost halved. How are you going to prevent that? What do you expect the impact of this is going to be?
Richard, I think that most voters know that these kinds of events happen and that they don't reflect on the broader work of the rest of our caucus, our candidates and our members out there in the community, taking the work that we do on whether it's climate change or biodiversity or inequality. And the fact is that we've got 6 months up until an election that we intend to continue to campaign hard on. Matiria was a leading figure in the Green Party and had been for a very, very long time. And so, that was a very, very, very different set of circumstances.
Are you upset with
Me mihi ka tika ki ngā mema katoa o te pāti kākariki. Ai he wero tēnei mō te katoa. Ai he ua tēnei mō te katoa. Me mihi ka tika he aroha ki a Dr. Elizabeth, me tōna whānau, me tōna hapori katoa. Ai, kari te mama tēnei, kari te mama, ko te mea nui kei te haere tonu te mahi mo te taiao mō ngā tangata hoki. Gina, yes please. I regret and know that this is hard on absolutely everyone. I want to say authentically that all of our MPs this term have brought brilliance to the work for the Green Party kaupapa, including Dr. Elizabeth Kerekere, and I will always stand by that. There are many, many things, and I believe she herself highlights the end conversion therapy legislation and petition that helped to drive that mandate for support. I acknowledge all of her communities that she was particularly connected to. And going, Richard, the mahi has continued for the Green Party throughout this process. Just today, I believe we've got Green Party candidates at an amnesty event for overstayers. This mahi has continued every single day throughout this whole process, and it will continue.
This is quite damaging for the left bloc. You've had resignation. Do you, and you guys might potentially be coalition partners, doesn't it look unstable?
I dare say there's more than the left who have had to deal with internal questionable candidates and MPs. This is something that all organisations have to deal with, and this is what we are doing now. No, we haven't.
Have you received any indication that she might be interested in joining the party Māori in the same way that we had since last night?
Have we spoken?
Have you had any indication?
No.
No, we had no indication.
Semi-technical level, this affects the proportionality of Parliament, though, doesn't it? So you guys will therefore potentially go under Act in the speaking order, because you don't have any MP?
That's a matter for the business committee to deal with, and that's a subsequent detail we haven't gotten to yet.
Where's she going to sit in the House?
That's
would be
a matter for the
Speaker.
Speaker.
Do you think Elizabeth Kerekere should resign from Parliament altogether because she is here on the taxpayers' dime until October, not representing the electorate?
That really is a matter for her. As a party, we've just been clear that people are elected by the electorate, by the voters, to be in Parliament, and we uphold that that is the decision for the people.
But do you have
Can
a...
you say when you were first made aware of the concerning behaviour?
The process was started as soon as the messages came to us and before they were public. We are just not going to get into the details of exactly what happened when. We were on an internal process to get to the bottom of
I
that.
guess what we're trying to get at there is if you knew about concerning behaviour and didn't act on it before it became public, that looks like you're only reacting to something happening in the media. Whereas if there was concern about the behaviour around staff before that and you knew about it, why didn't you act?
Well, it is really important to note that we actually initiated this process before those messages went public. We felt that so pretty much as soon as we saw them that evening, Marama and I had a conversation saying that we thought that we should initiate a process. That is really important. So it was not triggered by it going to the media.
But was there anything before the messages that was concerning to you that you could have acted on?
As we not that we could have acted on.
Well, I mean, people could be looking at the
message.
Sorry.
Do you believe it was about close or that Dr. Kerekere was referring to by son?
We don't find it credible, given that she apologised for the use of that term. It would be odd to apologise for the use of a term in reference to yourself.
And how do you respond to claims she's a victim of
Okay, sorry. Sorry.
How do you respond to claims from members that Dr. Kerekere is a victim of that politics?
What has been important for us is our responsibility to the well-being of all of our staff, of all of our MPs. And this is why we deemed it serious enough to start that internal process, to get to the heart of that. Dr. Elizabeth Kerekere has made her decision last night on how she's going to progress from here.
Can I just add to that? We were using a process that all MPs had agreed to, including Dr. Kerekere, for use in situations like this. It places a lot of emphasis on independence and on natural justice, precisely because any time a member of Parliament is the subject of allegations like that, it can be political. And so the reason why we have a robust process in place and the reason why it takes some time is to ensure that actually it is fair and observes natural justice to everybody, including Dr. Kerekere.
And on that, Jenna, on the process, the internal process that all of our MPs agreed on at least last year was also a result of the Francis Review. So we, with Masarajan Logie, drafted a robust internal process because the Francis Review quite clearly highlighted that we needed to do better across Parliament. And so that's where the internal process came from and was agreed to by all of us.
Did she engage with it whatsoever?
Yes, you
Yes.
did.
Yes,
you did.
People could be
absolutely.
looking at this process and quite rightly be saying and putting pieces together that you knew about what happened with Elizabeth Kerekere behind the scenes for a while, but it took something to go to the media for you to actually formalize any sort of investigation. Is there something going on behind the scenes where Green MPs or Green staff members deliberately leaked this story to the media in an effort to get Elizabeth Kerekere out?
Absolutely not. As I just said, Marama and I initiated this process after the messages were sent to the Signal chat, but before they went to the media.
Yep.
We didn't know that they were going to go to the media, but we felt that it was significant enough as an event for us to start this
And
process.
you had nothing to do with any of the leaks going
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No, it is not in our interests
No.
to have these kinds of stories in the media.
Yeah.
We are much more interested in campaigning on climate action, on the biodiversity crisis, on the inequality crisis, rather than talking about these kinds of things.
Last question. Just on Elizabeth staying in Parliament, do you philosophically have a view, I guess, on the appropriateness of her remaining? She was elected not as Elizabeth Kerekere, but on the Green Party list. People voted for the Green Party, not for her. She's here, you're down an MP, and she's not representing anyone.
Those are matters for Dr. Kerekere to decide for herself.
What message does it
This is
send
the
to
last
Māori
question.
What message does it send to the Māori katoa that we've had Dr. Kerekere, that we've had Nika Whaitiri as well too? There is a message that we're hearing that's not being said to us. What is that?
That as a Māori woman co-leader for the Green Party, that our mahi to uphold tiriti justice, to give land back, to end perpetual leases. This is the mahi of the Green Party. Those are the messages, those are the long-standing records that we as a Green Party have had over many terms. That I stand here leading the replies, leading the responses I've worked really hard to build relationships with Māori communities, to carry the voices of Māori communities, and I am fronting to Māori communities today to say that I am upholding my tikanga responsibilities to the well-being, the mana of all of my staff, MPs and kaupapa.
Kia ora. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel to stay up to date with all the latest news from the New Zealand Herald. Click the subscribe button below or check out one of the videos here and head over to nzherald.co.nz for more details on these stories and more.